Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Auto News Now. I'm your host, Laura Harris. On today's episode, Hannah Lutz, automotive news reporter, sat down with Ed Pieper, Vice President of General Motors Fleet. They talked about how conversations with fleet customers have evolved to become pro-electric vehicles. Pieper says fleet fits into GM's broader EV goals.
This is Hannah Lutz, a reporter with Automotive News. I'm here with Ed Pieper, Vice President of General Motors Fleet. Thanks for joining me, Ed.
It's great to be with you, Hannah.
How are you really transitioning your legacy fleet customers to EVs while also maintaining this very important core business of your gas-powered fleet vehicles?
Well, we really have a foot in both camps. When you look at our play just for Chevy alone, where we're going to play with ICE and where we're going to play with EV products, we're in the four largest segments. Right now, we're playing with Trailblazer, we're playing with Bolt EV and EUV. We will be playing with obviously Silverado and Silverado EV, which will be launched first in fleet. We'll have an Equinox and an Equinox EV, and we'll have a Blazer and a Blazer EV. So we're going to play in both places. We know there's going to be a lot of market still for internal combustion engine vehicles, but we're going to be prepared to go whatever way a customer wants.
Do you see customers asking for some sort of combination between ICE and EV, or will most of them make the leap into EV entirely?
I think they're going to, at first, obviously, they're going to continue to buy ICE vehicles, but they're also going to start buying EVs, we think, in very, very large numbers when they look at the comparison, again, those total cost of ownership comparisons between ICE and EV. And if it makes sense for them and makes sense for their business, and remember, a lot of large companies, they have sustainability goals they also want to attain. And that's a big part of them wanting to get into this business as well.
So you've had some longstanding commercial vans, the Savannah and the Express. What is the plan for those? Will GM redesign or freshen them as internal combustion vehicles? Will you launch electric additions or replacements for them?
We continue to make tweaks to those vehicles. I would tell you right now, from an ICE standpoint, the Savannah and Express, the demand is unprecedented right now. We have incredible demand in that space. Mary Barra announced last year, I think our Q2 earnings broadcast, that we would have an electric, cargo van, and that is certainly on the horizon. And will be an exciting future program for us at GM.
Okay. So you said these conversations with your customers have been ongoing over the last year. How have the conversations really changed? Like what questions are coming up now that maybe weren't thought of a year or 18 months ago?
I think the initial concerns for a lot of customers centered around range anxiety. I think particularly with EVs, that's been an issue for them. But when we talk to customers and let them know that we have up to a 400-mile range on the Silverado EV, range anxiety or questions about range anxiety will go away. I think the infrastructure question, they're now understanding a lot more what's happening with infrastructure, the drive to get infrastructure installed in the U.S. right now, from the White House on down, to make sure that there's enough infrastructure out there. We certainly get a lot of questions about it. But one of the things we've tried to do is we want to be an EV consultant for our customers. We're not just throwing them a playbook and say, here you go, figure it out yourself. I mean, we've got our own Ultium 360 fleet program that we have, that we've got several different major partners. And whether a fleet wants to have home charging for their drivers, whether they want to have depot charging, or whether they want to engage in public charging, for their drivers, we want solutions for all of them. One of the things we've done extremely well at GM Fleet is we provide solutions for our customers, and that's what they want. And it all starts with great product. And again, our strategy is we're going to build ground up brand new EVs, and we've taken into account the input that we've received from fleet customers as we develop and are developing these products versus some of our competitors who have taken an existing architecture and literally slam batteries into them to make it work. And we don't believe that's the right way to go longer term. And I think our strategy overall and what we can offer fleet customers in solutions will be better than anyone else's in the marketplace by far.
Thanks for watching, everyone. You can listen to Hannah's full interview and get the headlines on the Daily Drive podcast, hosted by Kellen Walker. See you all tomorrow.